In this week's video, I want to cover a topic that is the bane of existence for most accountants, especially right now. It's beginning of February when I'm shooting this video, and we're going into the busy tax season. And one of the biggest pains in the butt, especially when I had my own accounting practice, was this. Gfod. Of course, accountants, we love our acronyms, so I had to do this. This is getting the files out the door. Get the files out the door. Gfod, Gfod. And for those of you who know me a little bit better, you know sometimes I make this Gffod for those who don't mind the swearing, but I won't say it on this video, but you know what I mean by there. Get the files out the door. So what I want to do is I want to talk about the solution to this, because nothing is more painful than getting a client's file, getting their year-end financial statements or their tax returns, and getting in, and you're missing that one piece of information. And you've been chasing the client, and you're trying to get the information in, and you just need to get the file completed. You need the Gfod, get the file out the door. This is what you do. And I talked about this before in a previous video. It's called task delegation, and there's 3 keys, 3 points that you need to cover off with a task delegation. And this is what you're doing, is you're delegating a task to your client. So this can be used for your staff, this can be used for your clients, it can be used anywhere. So the task delegation, and the 3 points are as follows. As number 1, you need a clear detail of what needs to be done. Detail of the description or the task that's getting allocated to the person. So in the case of your clients, it's very simple. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we need the financial statements from February 2020. Well, I need you to get those to us. Okay, that's what you need. That's just a simple details. It's really, simple. Whatever the piece of document or the information you need to get the file done. Number 2, the other thing you need to make sure that this gets done is you need a deadline. And this is where a lot of things fall through. It's like, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we need your financial statements or your bank account statements from February 2020. We need to please get that back to me by this Friday. And some accountants, they'll do that. But that still doesn't make it happen, because Friday comes and goes, and you're still chasing them for information, and you're sending your staff out. Nothing's worse than that, because it's inefficient, ineffective, and it costs you money because you're chasing clients for information. So now here's the 3rd piece that you put in here. This is the critical part that most accountants miss, is that there needs to be consequences, a consequence to the person not completing the task. So in the case of Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and this is how I tell all my coaching clients to do this. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we need your bank statements. Sorry, I keep going, financial statements. We need your bank statements from February 2020. We need them by Friday. And this is where the consequences. If I do not get them by this Friday, I will be preparing and finishing your financial statements the way that the information that we have so far to date. They'll be completed. We're going to be putting the file together, and you're going to be signing them, and we're going to be sending them to the government for filing. Part of this consequence is, if you can quantify it, you want to add a little extra kicker in there, a little more salt in the wound. And if you don't get us that information, the consequences are, I'm going to finish the file and file it. But if you don't, we could potentially be missing a tax deduction for X amount of dollars, or it could be misfiled with the government, and I want to go to CRA or IRS, both government agencies. There could be consequences to this. You could get this penalty and this forward. You'll be amazed at how quickly the client will turn around and get you that information, or even better, maybe not even better, the client will just say, you know what, I'm okay with that. Just file it, put it away, and put it to bed. But at least you get Gfod. You get the files out the door. You get them off your plate and finished up, so that you can move on to more work and more clients. So these are the 3 things in task delegation. Think about this next time you have a client that's taking forever to get you a piece of information. Say, get me the bank statements by this date. If not, I will complete the file and as is, given that information that we have, and here are the consequences if we do so. If the client says, great, go for it, then you just close it up, wrap it up in a bow, and send it off. If the client finally gets you the information, then you can get the file done completely and more, shall we call it, more exact, like most of us accountants want to get done and get the file done right. You can complete it off, and either way, you Gfod, If you're not more like Eric, you get GFFOD. So there you go. I'm Eric Solbeck, and wherever you're watching this, please scroll down, leave a comment for me, and stay tuned for more success tips to come.